Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this live stream. I hope everybody's really doing well. And so, thank you so much, guys, for sending me a lot of loves and messages regarding my health. So thanks a lot. And I'm well today. I'm feeling better since yesterday, but just a small fracture in my leg. And things are good. So I couldn't be there actually. Yesterday I gave Matic scalp. It was a perfect scalp actually, and this is where I gave the scalp, and I asked you guys to not take it, cancel it, because this is what I really so that was a LTF scalp. On daily it is bullish. On the 15 minutes our scalp it hit perfect take profit targets as well. But this is where the retest of the equilibrium was very crucial at 95 cents, and from there it literally hit my take profit targets as well. If you took it, almost like a very good risk reward over there at that point of time. Over here this was the setup, and with the stops of 9 to 5. This was the stop loss for Matic at the when I gave you. And the risk reward was also amazing. It was roughly around almost close to 4-hour setup, as you can see, 1.06 something. So 4-hour with a good 12% move on Matic. But as I really wanted to give this as well yesterday, but I was not well. So now, anyways, now we are here, guys. So let's talk about Bitcoin first. If you just look at the Bitcoin from the first angle, I think Bitcoin is you can't say at this point it's bearish, you can't say at this point it's bullish. Just let's have a very simple talk over here, that we are still ranging over here. So this was your range highs, and this is your range lows actually. And what has happened is that we have swept the lows one more time, the way we have swept the highs. So basically the liquidity on both the end have been grabbed, and now it's more or less, in my view, we are likely doing a 3-step setup. So this was the test of the support. This is like a liquidity grab, and we might be retesting it one more time. Now that retest happened after back testing the equilibrium of this, and I've mentioned yesterday as well, if Bitcoin flips 3 consecutive close above 51.7, then it's bullish, we should be longing. But it never gave that three consecutive close above 51.7, honestly, and hence there were no indications of Bitcoin being bullish at all. Actually, the more like the price is chopping. So the first reason that we have here, that we are having the 3-step setup over here. Now that the worst case scenario, what might be looking is, ideally the 3-step setup should work, but from the EW perspective over here, as you can see here in front of your screen, the move that we got down was 3 waves ABC, and an impulsive move that we got was another ABC. Now this ABC and the move on an upside ABC clearly indicates that Bitcoin is not yet topped. So we haven't topped yet on lower term time frame. High term time frame, if you look at daily or a weekly time frame, we are very much close for topping out. This weekly close is going to give us a strong confirmation whether the bearish divergence is going to play out or not. So we really want to see how are we going to close a weekly, because the weekly is forming a good bearish divergence. And if you do have get that confirmation, I think Bitcoin can literally the next week is going to be a little bit nasty for the overall crypto markets actually. And that's the main reason this week was very slow for me. I've not given much of trades, honestly. Only reasoning because Bitcoin, we just scalped Bitcoin actually. We haven't done much. Show has been nailing Ondo and a lot of Pepe. Today, he's like a magician. He touches it and boom, it goes up. So he's our, Ellis, and he's like, whatever else he touches it just pumps. Amazing trader he is. So he's been giving a hell lot of altcoin trades and scalps, and I just want you guys to take all the trades it gives you. Of course, he can't win it all. There are some stop losses, but overall, if you see the all the trades, if you combine total, you would have made more than, personally I have, I also take all the trades he gave, because he is a very good trader actually, and that's why we have it here in 21M. And so far I would say we have made more than 35 R net R from his trades alone actually. Forget about the price action algo, forget about the rest of the trades. The signal indicator has given you since like giving access 2 days back. So basically at this point I think that we are still ranging, and if you look at here, we got a 3 waves on an upside, which clearly indicates that Bitcoin is not topped. And now that we have got 3 waves on the downside, is just not giving me that indication that we are bottomed as well, because normally the bottom happens with 5 waves. Now let's say if this 3 waves is some sort of a, not ABC, but a very interesting a WXY, and I don't know what happened to my trading view. Something has happened and the chart has gone. I don't know what's happened. Well, anyways, I don't know what has happened suddenly, and it started revolving like this, loading like this. So let's say if Bitcoin has, I mean, this has been happening since morning. I don't know what's wrong with TradingView, but what I want to say is, maybe let me just close some of the yeah, I think there are a few. The only issue happened with, okay, now the chart has loaded. So there are 2 options over here. If we do consider this move as ABC on the downside with 3 waves, then this move is going to be considered as a very clean WXY zigzag correction. So let's consider this is a sharp move on an upside B, and then 5 wave moves on the downside wave C. So this is going to be like zigzag correction, and the bottom is in. And then what you mean by the bottom is in is that this was your wave 1, this is your wave 2, this is your wave 3, this is your wave 4, and that was your wave 5. So that's how you got 5 waves on an upside. And we are right now doing ABC, or this was your wave A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was your 5 waves. We got a sharp move on the downside, wave A. You got wave B, and right now we are doing wave C over here, which means that we really need to hold above 50,685. If let's say this is your bottom with WXY move, if this is your bottom for Bitcoin, then I do think that we need to hold above 0.886, and we really can't go under 0.886, because if we do happen to go under 0.886, that would clearly invalidate my view or a wave count of practically bullish impulsive move, which means that the first wave count that we have is a bullish wave count with an assumption that this is the bottom. The bottom is in around 50,428. So that is what we have at the first instance, meaning that the move that we got on upside over here, that was your wave 1. We are doing wave 2. We can slightly go towards 50,780 or so, and then we're going to get a bigger impulsive move, wave 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go to 54,000, and then we start dumping towards previous month high. So that's what the first wave count that we have here on the lower term time frame for Bitcoin. Now, I really don't have the bear case scenario over here. The only reason being is the top happened with, practically 3 waves actually. Ideally, it should not have happened with 3 waves, but it happened with 3 waves, so we have a little bit problem there. Now let's see the bearish case on LTF. Not exactly the bearish case, but I would say a bullish case, but a lower term time frame within bullish case, we have a smaller bearish case. So what does that mean? So if you just go to the support resistance algo, I think we need to just switch on the trend line. Yeah, the trend lines are on. I'm going to switch into the 15 minutes, and you will see the trend lines are going to draw a very interesting pattern, with the pattern name itself is a bullish full phase, or you can say it is like a 3 drive. So what we might do is we can just probably sweep the lows one more time, go towards 50,200 or $50,000. So that's going to be our clean 5 waves on the downside, and we start breaking above, flip it up, and then we go up like this. So in case if we get this move on the downside, then the downside move would consider be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's where we get 5 waves on the downside, and we look for an upside on Bitcoin. Honestly speaking, the way the pattern is forming, I would love to see Bitcoin holding the lows and we form a 3-step setup. So we hold above 50,734. That's what I would love to see, because the quicker, the faster we go up, the more faster we're going to see a bigger dump actually, because there is a whole lot of liquidity on the upside. The funding is neutral at this point. I really don't see any sort of shorts are banging on or the longs are going nuts over here. No, it's neutral. So basically the shorts and longs both are waiting for the price to do its own thing, and they have positioned themselves over here. So what I personally think that this would be the best case in case if Bitcoin does something like this. It would be nice if we hold the 50,000 700, I would say $687 levels. If we do hold, it would be nice. But then because if you really want to see Bitcoin reversing, then we need to see a proper PO3 playing out. So this is going to be our manipulation over here. This is the range that we are forming right now. Currently we are ranging, ladies and gentlemen. This was your range highs, as you can see, a range lows, another range highs, a range lows, and then you want to see a deviation on an upside. Once we see a deviation, that's like a manipulation. The price goes back down, and then we look for a bigger reversal move. Ideally, this is what I think it should play out at this point. But we also have another case that in case if it goes for a manipulation, not on an upside, but it goes for manipulation on the downside, because we have a nice support around 49,600 to $49,900 levels. So we do have that nice support. So practically, the worst case scenario, as I mentioned, for the Bitcoin would be that we just go down here, reclaim this range lows, and once it reclaims it, that would be our trigger for longs. We are not going to catch the knife over here. No, we don't want to catch it. Let it go down, let it reclaim the range lows of 50,687. Once it reclaims it, we let it ride to $55,000. That's what we really want to ride it actually for the Bitcoin. And that's where we're going to get our good risk reward. So once it reclaims the range lows over here, we're going to long there with our stops under these lows. That's going to give us a good risk reward, ladies and gentlemen. And hence, we really need to wait for it. Now let's say, what if this is your bottom? This is the bottom. And let's say if you really want to play it right now, I think just look at the oscillators at this moment. Our oscillator, I've almost given access to, I would say 50%, 60% of the people in here. If you look at our oscillator, the trend shift oscillator, as you can see, the RSI is under EMA, which is slightly bearish. So we need RSI to flip. The RSI is BB is also is red, which means that it is under mid. So we need it to flip, like either be it orange or be it green. EMA is flipped basically, which means that the EMA, the blue EMA, is still above the red EMA, which still indicates that we haven't seen any sort of a trend reversal yet. So the trend is not reversing, it's just chopping at this point. And if you remember, what did I mention when we were getting this dump on 21st of Feb? I did mention that I would like to see the price to go in more of a choppy. In few days we are going to see more of chop, and then we're going to see a bigger move that is going to happen. And that's exactly what the price has been doing since 21st of Feb. We are chopping chopping and chopping. So that's what we are doing. And if you look at the EMA flip, the price have not flipped the blue line, basically the blue EMA, which is around 51,190. So you can probably wait for at least the first two indicators, that's RSI EMA and RSI BB, to try to, flip, turn green, so that it's going to give you a good indication probably for you to long. So you really need to wait for here, once it starts flipping back, starts closing, starts turning green, that is where I think the bounces are going to happen. That's where we can ride the trend. So here at this point, if you ask me, I won't risk it at this level, despite the fact it looks good. But why would I even risk my 1 hour? I would just wait for a confirmation. That's why we have an oscillator over here. Let just wait for a confirmation. Once it gives us the confirmation that the trend is shifting, things are turning green, we go in. That's what we're gonna do. Similarly, if you look at the last one, RSI is 50, which means that the RSI is under 50 actually. So the RSI is green, which means that RSI is under 50, which is an indication that, RSI under 50, RSI under EMA, and RSI under BB, which means that this is a good indication that the price can reverse from here. That's a good indication over here, ladies and gentlemen. So we just need at least, once we start flipping the EMA on the RSI and, it starts turning green, we can, probably risk it on this scalp actually for Bitcoin. This is how you read this, oscillators that we have on the downside. Apart from it, we do have, I've already released it on 21st. So you all have an access to the, signal indicator. The signal indicator, as I mentioned, Shaur also gave me his views about it. He mentioned to me that he tested it. So far, he feel personally that 1 hour is awesome for him. 1 hour is like giving him almost close to 90% of win rate, 90% of win trades basically. And according to him, the 15 minutes time frame is giving roughly around 70 to 75% of win rate so far, what he tested on Bitcoin. So basically, we will also do more testing on alts as well. The indicator itself was having some bugs which we have fixed today. And if you really want to have alerts set, you're going to get emails from TradingView. You simply go here on the support resistance algo, go to this 3 dot more, add alert on this, and once you have the alert set, probably then you go and whether you want alert for buy or you can have alert for sell. So you can have 2 separate alerts for both the signals. And you can just select a trigger whether you only need 1 time or you need once per bar close, however you want to have it, any expiration you want to have it, or you can name the alert. That's what you can create, and once you create it, you're going to get the notifications as well. So that's what we have for on the lower time frame analysis for Bitcoin. So the 1 hour is still not yet ready, but it is also not bearish, guys. The bearish would be once the EMA, this third condition that we have, the EMA flip will also turn red. Once this turns red, yes, the trend is going to shift more on the downside, and this is where the green box is where we're likely going to see a move on over there, a little bit manipulation, and then the price is going to reclaim the range lows. As and when it reclaims the range lows, we are likely going to long here on the reclaim or retest, long here at 50,689 with our stops under the lows that it formed previously in this green box, and then we let it ride to 54,000. So just for an update on our trade on Bitcoin, we bought Bitcoin spot around 39,300 on the dip in Jan. We already sold 75% of Bitcoin around 51,400. So now we having 25% of Bitcoin left. I think that one more push on Bitcoin towards 54 is going to be very interesting. It's going to be amazing in my view. So let's wait for the dip to happen. During this choppiness, the market might be or will be very slow. Of course, there will be few alts are going to perform, but overall the market is going to be slow, and which is where we need to exercise patience, guys. Already we have made good amount in the month of Feb. I haven't gave, I would say, honestly, I haven't gave much trades personally in the month of Feb the way I used to give it in Jan, because since beginning of the Feb, I gave it, few trades and we were holding Bitcoin spot. But then if you see, our analysis were on the spot. Ondo, our friend Cavado asked me what would be the zone where you would like to, bid Ondo. I mentioned him 0.31 to 0.30 is where we should bid it. And that's where a good levels to, the Ondo should pump actually. Shaur gave a long on Ondo at those levels. And 40%, 55% pump happened on Ondo actually. Amazing trade he gave yesterday. Everybody is so happy. You really don't need, to have like multiple trades a day. I think, overall, even in a week, I think even if we can get at least 3-4 trades, amazing. I think that is enough for us actually. So that's what I think I have the plan for Bitcoin. Now, a worst case scenario I would like to say is that tomorrow is, a very important pivot that we have for Bitcoin from astrology perspective. I really don't believe in all these things, but it has worked so far historically. So let's see what tomorrow gonna bring. The worst case scenario for Bitcoin is, this is the top. This is the top for the Bitcoin. This is like not an ABC, but some sort of an expanding diagonal actually. The expanding diagonal, normally the top normally never happens with an expanding diagonal. It normally happens with either a rising wedge or, a diagonal sort of thing, but not an expanding diagonal, honestly, which I never have seen in my life. So let's say if this is the top for the Bitcoin and it has already topped out, we don't pump in next 24 to 48 hours, we don't give that pump to 54,000, then we have a big problem, ladies and gentlemen. So that might be, the first sign that, BTC can give us a very impulsive move on the downside. And basically, if we start losing, just give me a moment, please. So basically, if the worst case scenario on Bitcoin would be if we start losing the levels, as I mentioned, of 49,650, if we do lose that levels, I think BTC is likely going to see a very sharp move on the downside towards $47,000. Now, everybody would be very happy to long around 49,000 because that's where we have previous month highs. And of course, that level can also give us a good bounce. But, I would not bid it because February we have seen normally historically, if we see, it has given us a dump of almost close to 20 to 25% average. So I would not be betting on previous month highs. Yes, it can give you a good bounce. Honestly, the bounce can be somewhat like a pump from here towards, maybe 51,000 one more time and then dump more. That's how it can give you. But I'm not gonna bet on once the downside starts on Bitcoin. We are not looking to long. We will be longing Bitcoin. The important levels we're going to have. The first important level is going to be 47,200. That's where we have daily naked POC, but we don't have much confluence there. But if you look at from the perspective of the price action algo, just if you open the price action algo, we have the previous week lows. So probably we can just go and sweep the previous week lows. And we can just wick towards the EMF 50 on the daily, which is around 46,200. So I think the only logic that makes sense over here on Bitcoin going down would be around 47,200 to 46,200. That's where I would be expecting a bounce. But the best levels, if you ask me, it would be 45,420, because we have previous month value area high along with very close to 2023 highs, which is around 44,800. So I think, if Bitcoin gives us that opportunity, and which I do think it should give us, then this is going to be a good buy, even if for 10 to 11% bounce, but that's going to give us a good bounce in my view. So that's what we have from a Bitcoin perspective. As I mentioned, guys, use our oscillators, use our, these signals as well. A lot of people ask me, I've already posted a video on how to use the signals. Well, we have two types of signals. First, it's going to give you a buy or sell signal. So the buy or sell signal is the first sign of a bigger trend reversal. If it gives you a buy or sell signal, which means that you should take it. But after that, it's going to give you a triangles. A triangles would mean that there is a likelihood that the trend is going to keep on continuing. So that's where, the trend is going to continue. Our first buy signal on Bitcoin happened on 31st of Jan around, 42,977. After which, if you would have bought there, after which Bitcoin literally went to 41,935, almost $1,000 dump. But then we got multiple compounding, this is like a compounding long signals or a buy signals around 42,924 and 42,671. Even if you would have compounded there and got a good average, it just kept on pumping. No other signal happened till recently. It gave another compounding long signal around 17th of Feb for like 51,500, and from there we pumped it up more towards $53,000. Even on 21st of Feb, it gave on 1 hour, it gave another long signal around 51,300, and it pumped to around $52,100 levels. So practically, this is how the compounding works actually. So the triangles are not a fresh signal, guys. These are compounding trades. So if you get original signals, if you're riding the trends, amazing, you're gonna make more money with it. But if you're riding with the triangles, there is a likelihood that the signal might just not play out. But overall, what I have seen and what I have observed is still the win rate is good actually with the Bitcoin. Just want to give you a little bit of, how the signals have performed after giving you an access. So if you look at here there are a few alts I just want to show you. Let's start with XAI. XAI, it gave a very nice, triangle continuation signal on 21st of Feb after giving you, the indicator. It gave a buy signal around 1.32, and it gave a pump of 12.72% so far till then. The downside move happened of roughly around 6%. So practically you would have already made more than 2 hours setup on this XAI. If you look at AGX, it gave a very interesting triangle, a multiple buy options on 21st of Feb. And if you just bought that, around the first triangle was 53,615, and a lot of triangle happened around 52 cents. If you got a good average, you would have made almost close to 46%. Even on 23rd of Feb, that is today, few hours back, it gave another buy signal around, of 70.19. If you would have bought around 70.6 or 70.5, you see AGX is just keeping on pumping. It just gave already another 19% move on an upside. So that's how the signals are so powerful actually. And we have combined the signals with the support resistance algo, so where the price is having a support or where the price is going into a resistance. Now looking to this AGX, if AGX would have swept the lows, if AGX would have swept the lows of 67.6, and if it would have pumped, it would have give a lot of confluence for a good amount of I would say confidence that even Bitcoin is going to do something like this. But AGX did not swap the lows, and it just pumped up, holded the lows, and it pumped up. So the structure on AGX and Bitcoin both are not the same. If you look at the RNDR, guys, RNDR, the first buy signal, I mean, these are the compounding trade signal. It already gave a compounding trade signal around 6.077, and the max down, it went to around 5.77, which we already had a support here. Another compounding trade signal happened at 6.05. Another compounding signal happened at 6.07 on 28th of Feb in the evening. And later what happened is that RNDR almost pumped 30% and 27% from the respective signals as well. Another signal happened on 21st of Feb after giving you excess. It gave a buy signal around 6.27. Even if you would have took it, you would have been up around 27%. Talking about WorldCoin, the WorldCoin, it gave a lot of buy signals around here. We got a nice move on an upside. However, WorldCoin also, forget about the signals, but it also had a good breakout on 21st of Feb from literally the trend line. This is the auto trend line we have in the support resistance algo. It gave a breakout. The good part about this was the trend was bullish. We were above, if you look at the oscillator over there, I mean, I don't have whether we have an oscillator here or not. I'm not sure. I don't think we have it. But if you look at the oscillators, everything was green. And then, the price kept on pumping, and it gave a big move. Even if, let's follow the recent, triangles that we got. Even if you bought, WorldCoin around 8.4, it gave you a minimum, bounce from there, roughly around 3.5%. But then if you have DCA'd very nicely with all the triangles that you have got, you would have made around 5 to 6% average on this WorldCoin as well. ARKM, this coin itself, on 28th of Feb, it gave a sell signal around, 1.05, and around here, basically. From there, it dumped 8.8%. And then, once the trend starts shifting, the sell signal got invalidated once we dumped 8.7%. If you would have booked profits, nice. But once the trend starts shifting over here, we also had support resistance over here. Once the trend starts shifting, we got a very interesting 46% move on an upside. You just need to check an oscillator, guys. FET, our famous FET coin, everybody knows about it. The first, a green arrow happened over here. If you would have bought 19% gains, another green happened over here. If you would have bought another 21% gains, another green happened over here at 1.11. Then it happened at 1.108, happened over 1.09445. It's like you would have, if you would have averaged it down, you would have made 6 to almost, I would say now it will be around 7.6% gains actually. The only, I think only important thing you need to keep in mind when you are trading all these signals is it don't give you take profit or stop loss targets, but I have explained in a video how this red line is going to be a trend changer. So once we start flipping under the red line, once we start closing it and the oscillators have started slowly gradually turning red, that is going to be your first sign that we should be exiting, or that there is likelihood that the price is going to reverse. So that's what FET, how it has performed. Look at the INJ. Even though INJ was in a downtrend, it gave a sell signal over here. It also gave a buy signal, if you see here, on 19th of Feb. And if you just look at the buy signal, we did not move much on an upside, more than 1%, but it went down literally. This was a failed signal. I would consider it's like a 5% down because we flipped under red line. So it was a failed signal. After that, it gave a sell signal over here. When the trend starts shifting over here, it gave a sell signal. And if you would have took that sell signal, you would have had 9.2% gains. Not only that, even if you would have compounded here another short, you would have made another 3% more. Not only that, if you would have compounded more over here, you would have made another 5% more. So that's how the compounding is going to help you. So one failed signal versus 4 good signals on INJ. That's how you can compound actually. This is the buy sell signal. This is support resistance algo. The access has been given to all my friend Abhi. All the premium members have the access. TMV crypto support and resistance algo. We released it on 21st. Also the access, we also have another indicator, TMV, oscillator signal, as you can see. TMV trend shift indicator. So basically this is also a very crucial indicator that we have, and that's where you get to know whether the trend is bullish right now, it's going to shift it or not. Instead of you have RSI, BB and a lot of other stuffs on your chart, it's only the one oscillators. That's very, very important. If you have it just one, you can do anything with that thing. Look at SEI, guys. SEI, these are all the new coins which were trending over the weekend, and that's why I have put it here, so we know as to how this indicator have played it very nicely. If you look at here on the SEI, it gave a sell signal around these levels of 0.92. After that, if you see, we went slightly up to 95, but overall the move was down. We got a big dump around 8.3%. Again, it gave this triangle here, and then we got another move on the downside from there, almost close to 12.4%. Overall, 20% move on the downside with SEI. If you look at PYTH at this point, you got a sell signal on PYTH around here, 9.2% down. I mean, you can just look every damn thing. The signals that have been given by this, basically signals actually. I mean, just you can check all the coins actually. I think majority of the coins are playing out. Some, of course, I'm not saying that it is 100% accurate. I would say fairly, as I mentioned, Shaul also mentioned to me, he personally checked it, because I like to take independent views of everyone. 1 hour so far is getting 90% accuracy, and 15 minutes 70 to 75% accuracy, which is still a good thing actually. Even if you look Ondo, my friends, Ondo, I think I personally wrote this because when I was having an access to indicator on 28th, I already got access by the developer. It gave a buy signal. I bought Ondo around 33 cents and then keep on DCAing around 31 cents. 42% move on an upside on Ondo. And even if, it gave another compounding long signal, which clearly tells me the trend is still bullish. The RSI EMA is green, BB is orange, which means that it's not bearish, it's a neutral. EMA flip is bullish, price EMA flip is bullish, RSI 50 is red, which means that RSI is also above 50. So that's how, this is telling me that Ondo is still good till we are above 40 cents. So even if, would have bought around Ondo here and would have DCA'd very nicely, I think it still gave you a very small push on an upside for roughly close to 3.5 to 4%. So that's what, we have on Ondo. Now, if somebody wants to check Link as well with this thing, let's check Link. So if you check Link, let's see what it gave on 15 minutes. So if you check Link here, the latest one was a sell signal around 21st of Feb. It gave a sell signal. After that, Link dumped almost 6.39%. Again, it gave another sell signal, which was like a compounding short, which means it asked you to add more and more shorts on Link. From there, it dumped almost close to another 4.7%. If you look at an upside, it just pumped more, roughly around 3%, and it dumped like 6%. Sorry, it dumped almost 4.68%, which is roughly around 1.5 hour. And if you keep on continuing this short signal for almost close to 8.85%, I think this would be the best risk reward you can ever had on Link actually on the 15 minutes. This was like a perfect short it gave you on 28th of Feb. Overall, even if you just want to look anything, you can look Manta. I don't know whether Manta has given anything so far. It's a very fairly new coin, so it hasn't given much. Look at TIA, whether TIA has given anything so far. Yeah, TI has been given continuous short signal, 7.3% over here, another 6.5% over here. Overall, the trend was down, and overall, we were just playing a trend actually. So this is how the signals are going to help you in riding the trend actually. Even if you look at the bigger trend, it literally, would have caught, because these are the triangles. So basically at some point it needs to give the short signal at some point actually. I don't know whether at what levels it gave the, can you check XAI? Yeah, XAI is here on the 15 minutes time frame, as you can see here on XAI. So there are buy signals over here. This was the buy XAI gave around 1.28 initially. This is where the trend was shifting. Max it went down 6%, but overall it pumped almost close to 14 point something around 14.7, and still it asked that the trend is bullish and we just should be keep on buying. So there are Doritos over here. There are Doritos. So I don't know. Have you updated the indicator, guys? I have asked everyone to remove the old indicator and to refresh trading view and add the new indicator actually. So that's what we had. And I just wanted to show you how these signals are helpful and is going to work for you. You can set up n number of alerts for it so that you don't miss a beat actually. Talking about analysis, I think Ethereum is definitely looking good at this point, but why? Because the bulls have definitely won over here, and it's very important for us to say that the bulls literally saved Ethereum actually. Why? If you look at the daily time frame on ETH, if you look at here, I mentioned that we are likely going to close Ethereum above 2947, and I literally longed it as well because I know that bulls are going to defend this engulfing candle. Last time also bulls defended it. They never gave it up actually. They defended it very very nicely. Basically I think at this point Ethereum is still good, but if you look at the 12 hours time frame, 12 hours we have got an engulfing candle, but then we also already swept the high, so we are right now in a range formation. So what I personally think that if you look at the 12-hour signal as well, this is where the 12-hour signal was given by the signals indicator around 2294 and asked to compound more, asked to add more, because it got confidence that it's gonna run up, and then it just pumped from there to 2,995 and $3,000. Right now I think Ethereum is going to go practically, this is what I think on the lower term time frame. If you see on ETH, this is forming a very interesting, I would say, the pattern. If you remember the pattern on ETH on 15 minutes time frame or 1 hour, this is also a very interesting signal given on 1 hour from here to 2793, and from there it pumped up to $3,000. Even on weekend, probably yesterday as well, it gave a signal over here at 2,926 and we pumped almost 3,040. Just put Ethereum in a range actually. So how would you do that? This is your range highs over here, and this is your range lows over here. So if you look at here, we are ranging actually, and we are under equilibrium of this range. I do think at this point, what I feel is this is like a 3-dab we are rejecting. So I think the way I'm seeing it, this is like a 5 waves. You see, you have a clear 5 waves over here. So this is like a 5 waves, and this into my view is like some sort of a B, and we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe bottom is in. We might have one more move on the downside along with Bitcoin and then probably run it back up. But I do think once ETH flips above 295 1.5, once we start flipping above, ETH is going to go back again to 2995 and later 3100 something. So you need to keep eyes on ETH. Even I'm gonna keep eyes on it. So I think BTC along with Bitcoin can pump for sure, but ETH is likely going to go to 3200, and probably even it can just run it back turbo to 3300 or so as well, because it needs to finish Bitcoin move. So I think Ethereum is more likely bullish than Bitcoin at this point. You just need a confirmation. You can check Bitcoin dominance chart over here on what do you say, Bitcoin dominance chart. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, my plan was perfectly played out. I mentioned Bitcoin dominance is now turning bearish. We are doing irregular flat overall, and I do think that Bitcoin dominance is not done, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we might see some bounces here and there on Bitcoin dominance, like a bearish retest of some sort, because we have a naked POC. So practically, even if we do get a bounce on Bitcoin dominance, this is going to dump more and more. My target for Bitcoin dominance is somewhere around 50% levels. Now, we would be bullish only and only once it starts flipping 54.25%. Till then, we are not bullish now. I think this was like a bearish retest, and I think it's going to go more and more down. Which EMA is using on this buy sell? I can't say that. I mean, the whole indicator is dependent on that actually. So basically, this is what I have for overall plan for market at this point. I think this is not the levels for you to be bearish about on Bitcoin, because we are at the range lows. So I think this don't make sense to be bearish. You be bearish only once 50,650 is flipped into a resistance. We start closing under 1 hour, then we are bearish. So far, the trend is not that bearish. I mean, I've already mentioned to you as well. The oscillators are, okay, now the oscillators are saying that the RSI EMA, yes, the price is under this. The price is also, the RSI BB is also red, which means that the RSI BB is still under mid, which means that, one of the indicator turns green and the price is going to pump actually. Just one. You really need only one thing, because I think RSI 50 is turned green, which clearly indicates that RSI is under 50 actually. So practically, I think you just need to wait patiently. Even I'm also watching it. As soon as I see that Bitcoin is reversing over here, it's flipping and oscillators are turning green, I'm going to give that long for sure. So have some patience, guys, and I'm going to give access to the rest of the guys for the indicators as well. You have any queries, you have any doubts, do ping me. We are going to have a Zoom session after the prayers, so with all the chart ideas traders. So be ready. Probably the prayers are going, the Zoom session is going to happen in next 2 hours. So you can have that time set for yourself, 2 to 2.5 hours max. So you can set yourself. We are going to connect on Zoom after 2.5 hours. Anybody can join if you would like on the Zoom call, all the premium members. But I would also want you guys to participate in what you feel the market is going to be, or what you feel, with respect to the alts or coins. So that's all, guys. Have a nice day and take care. Bye-bye.